I saw this jar of bacon jam at the store and I had a stupid idea. What if we marinated beef bacon in bacon jam and made jerky out of it?
I don't think I've ever had a flavor like this.
Bacon, marinated in bacon, turned into bacon jerky. Get ready for hot bacon on bacon action, because that's what we're doing today. We're making bacon jam beef bacon jerky. All right, so let's talk about what we're working with here. This is bacon jam. It's basically bacon candy in a jar. And if you look at the ingredients, uncured bacon, brown sugar, molasses, raw cane sugar, apple cider vinegar, onions, smoke flavor, this thing is loaded. There's 7 grams of sugar per serving, and we're gonna use this entire jar. So the question is, can jerky survive this much sugar? Or are we about to make the stickiest, most caramelized disaster ever? You and me are gonna find out. Here's what we need. 2 pounds of beef bacon. I found this pre-sliced at the grocery store, which saves us a ton of time. And look, I'm not gonna lie, finding beef bacon is not gonna be easy. Most grocery stores don't have it, but you might be surprised there'll be a couple places in town that do. You're just gonna have to track them down. Now, if you've never had beef bacon, it's not actually beef flavored pork bacon, it's actual beef belly from a cow. It's the same cut as pork bacon, but with this deeper, beefier flavor, and it's got more fat marbling than you'd expect. We're also gonna use this bacon jam, which is the star of the show. We're basically gonna use the whole jar just in the marinade. Then we'll use some soy sauce, because if we don't balance this out, it's just gonna be meat candy. We're gonna use a little Worcestershire sauce because I think beef needs it. A little bit of black pepper, and optionally you can use a little liquid smoke if you wanna go full bacon overload. But I'm not doing that. This bacon jam already has smoke flavor in it, but if you want it, go ahead and you add it. You do you. So that's it. That's everything that's going in the marinade, so let's just get to building it. Bacon jam goes in first, and look at this. It's chunky, it's sticky, it's got visible bacon pieces in it. This is not a normal marinade situation. So then we'll add 6 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire, and a teaspoon of black pepper. Lid on, and now we let the ninja do its ninja thing. Now this looks weird, right? It's thicker, it's not quite paste-like, but it's not exactly liquid smooth. The bacon jam doesn't want to fully incorporate. You got these pockets of solid jam with these bigger pieces mixed with the liquid soy sauce. But that's fine, we're coating beef bacon in bacon jam. Nothing about this is normal. So grab your beef bacon slices now and just lay them out. And now we commit. Coat every single piece all around it. Really get in there. Make sure every inch of beef bacon is completely covered in this sticky, sweet, smoky mess. You want that marinade in all the crevices, all the folds, you want it everywhere. This is where the flavor happens. Every sweet spot you miss is a spot that won't have that bacon jammy punch. Yeah, this marinade is super thick. It's not as thin as most marinades that we do. So since this marinade is so thick, like we really got to spend some extra time here massaging each piece. And once they're all coated, we put a lid on it and throw it in the fridge. So we're gonna let them soak in there for a full 24 hours. All right, if you want to feel productive during the middle of this thing, you can go ahead and shake it up, mix it up every once in a while through this 24-hour period. But if you don't need to. It's not necessary at all. The goal here is to let that bacon jam really soak in that meat and really penetrate all the way in. We want that sugar to start to cure the meat, really let those flavors meld. But also, we're kind of setting ourselves up for a possible disaster because too much sugar in meat is not always a good thing. But we'll find out tomorrow when this is done marinating. All right, it's been 24 hours and it's time to get these ready for the transition from raw meat to ready to eat jerky. I'm gonna hit these with a little bit of pan spray because there's nothing worse than bacon jerky just being stuck to your trays. Go ahead and pull your beef bacon out of that bowl there. Now it's gonna be sticky. That's pretty much to be expected at this point. Look at how much marinade's clinging to these strips. Every piece is completely coated. Then we're just gonna lay each strip down on these dehydrator trays. Make sure to leave space between them. They're gonna shrink as they dry, but they're also gonna get even stickier before they dry out. Set your jerky making machine to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, now here's the thing. Usually on something like this, I would kind of just set it and forget it, but I don't know how this one's gonna turn out, so I'm gonna start babysitting it around the 3-hour mark. Why? Mostly because on this one, the marinade has just a ton of sugar, and I want to keep my eye on that. It's got the brown sugar, the molasses, the raw cane sugar, and that sugar ends up caramelizing, which can be good, but it can be just a little too much. So about the 3-hour mark, I'm gonna start babysitting this. I'm gonna be looking for any sort of caramelization. Don't want that to over caramelize, so if I see that happening, I don't know, we may bump the temperature down a little bit to 150 and play it out the rest of the way, but that's why I'm gonna babysit from here on out. All right, hour 3, time to see what we're working with here. So the surface is glossy here. That's kind of the grease from the fat rendering. It's definitely darkening in color and the sugar is starting to caramelize. So definitely working, but we got a few more hours to go here to get this texture the way we want, so check again in a little bit. So we just keep checking every hour or so. The goal here is like a dark, glossy, slightly tacky surface. It's not wet, it's not bone dry, it's kind of somewhere in between. And honestly, this is looking like we might just pull this one off. All right, we are at 7 hours is what the total run time on this. Let's take a look at this. The beef bacon is really looking pretty good here. It's dark, it's starting to firm up, but we're not done yet. Let me pull a strip here, check that texture. You see how it bends? It doesn't really snap. The surface is glossy both from the fat rendering and also from the sugar caramelizing, but it's got that slight tackiness. That there tells you that the sugar is doing its thing. Okay, honestly, this stuff right here, right now, this could be done, but here's the thing. I got this whole other bottle of bacon jam sitting right here. So I'm looking at these strips, and I'm looking at that jam, and then I'm looking at these strips, and then I still have this jam, and I'm thinking, what if we just went full send? Actually, we're gonna go full send. Let's just do it. Take that half cup of bacon jam, we're gonna add a couple tablespoons of bourbon. Yep, bourbon. I think this stuff's gonna work out really well because I think bacon and bourbon are basically best friends. I'm gonna keep whisking it till it's thin enough to brush on. Then look at that. Look how glossy it gets. It gets that caramel color. It's got little bacon chunks on it. This stuff smells delicious. So I'm just gonna pull the trays out, grab a brush, just slather up each strip with a thin layer. So you don't wanna put the stuff on too thick. You just wanna add another layer of flavor and get that caramelized glaze on the top of it. You can really see that caramelized shine on there. You look at that glaze. See how it catches the light? That's liquid gold right there. Back in the jerky making machine, 158 degrees. I'm gonna give it one more hour. Now, all we do is wait. All right, it's been about 8 hours total, an hour on this glaze. Time to pull these. Yeah, look at these here. It's dark, glossy, almost mahogany. That bourbon glaze caramelized into the surface and created this deep, rich, kind of lacquered finish. This still looks like jerky, but it really looks like candy, like a crazy bacon candy. There's a slight tackiness when you touch it, and some of that's still a little greasy from all that fat rendering, but it's not sticky, it's just rich feeling, if that's a thing. Then I let them cool for a little bit, kind of come to room temperature for a while. As they cool, they're gonna start to firm up and that surface is gonna set. This is when you know that texture's right. You can kind of feel if the glaze is set properly, all that sugar stayed balanced, and it still has a really good bend to it. All right, got Joey and Kenny here. This is the moment of truth, so let's grab a piece and see what we got. All right, what do you guys think of how it looks?
One side is glossier than the other?
Yeah, this side's definitely glossier and it has a lot of chunks on it.
Yeah, so that's part of the glaze that we put on as an optional step at the end. So brush it on one side, you're gonna see that glistening finish and a lot of the chunks from the jam.
So I assume the chunks are bacon?
The chunks are bacon.
Bacon chunks on the beef bacon?
Yeah, so those are actually bacon chunks. All right, let's see how this stuff tears. All right, what do you guys smell?
Ooh, it almost smells like barbecue, like a tomato-y kind of.
It is more savory than the usual bacon that we make in here.
Picking up on some sweetness.
Well, now let's see what it tastes like. It's got some savory and some tang to it. Definitely not what I was expecting, but I don't hate it. It kind of has a little barbecue thing going, like you said.
It's almost like a sour tang aftertaste.
Texture reminds me a lot of the last jerky we did because it's kind of tough, but kind of soft too because of the fat.
What do you guys think of the texture? Some people are gonna be turned off by the rendered fat in the bacon.
I don't know, that might be polarizing, I think.
I think this does taste good. It's not as fatty as you would think, but I will say I do prefer these tougher pieces.
That glaze actually adds a level of texture also. I mean, you get that caramelized kind of almost crunchy-like surface there.
It does, almost has a caramelized effect.
Yeah, it does give it a little crunchiness to it.
It's a texture roller coaster.
Yeah, texturally, it's very interesting.
It has every texture.
If you didn't know what this was named, what type of flavor would you kind of put this with?
The closest thing that comes to mind is like a whiskey barbecue.
So yeah, whiskey barbecue. That's weird because that's the first one I thought of.
But it has that, that twang to it that I can't quite put my finger on.
I won't say I don't taste the bourbon per se, but
Better or worse than you guys thought it was gonna be?
initial thought, better than I expected. I do like it. I like the savoriness to it.
Yeah, because the apple butter one was so good, my expectations were high. So this one lets me down just a little bit.
So overall, the texture on this is really interesting. It's not super dry and it's not super wet. There's layers to this one. So you get the crispiness from the caramelized glaze, you get the toughness from the meat, and then you get the kind of softer side of the chew with that rendered fat. So this one is a texture roller coaster. The flavorings layered, you got the bourbon, bacon, jam, glaze on the top. Then you obviously have the flavor of the beef bacon itself. Overall, what do you guys think? Is this something we would make again? Is this something you like?
Maybe because it's more of like a savory flavor, I think I could eat more of this. So I do like it.
Yeah, this one doesn't quite live up to my expectations. A little too sweet, and the contrasting flavors are a bit much for me.
That's crazy because it surpassed my expectations.
Okay, so the $1 million question, is this a flavor you think we should keep and introduce to the taste testers, or kill it and move on to something else?
I will say I initially was going to say keep it, but after eating a second piece, I do think it's overwhelming. So I'd say maybe not kill it outright, but tweak it up a little bit.
I'd say kill. I think we can do better, and we've already proven that we can do better with beef bacon. So
It's a very good flavor. I think you should at least try it sometime. I think if we were going to drop a beef bacon flavor, this probably wouldn't be the first one we did. So that's it. That's it for our barely legal hot bacon on bacon action here with our bourbon bacon jam, beef bacon jerky. You guys let me know what you think of this down in the comments. And if you have any interesting ideas for things you want to see us make, let me know down there. Otherwise, I'll see you in our next video.